listening to the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing in Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing, but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. I'm Brit and I'm here today with Abigail Hopkins, founder of That Clean Life. Thanks so much for joining me today, Abigail.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to chat with you.
Ditto. Okay, so Abigail and I first met via email. She reached out and I checked out her company called That Clean Life, and I had a nice deep sigh when I got to her website. It's all very clean and minimalistic, which I personally love. I love that aesthetic. And well, I'll let Abigail say what she does, but basically it's really simple, easy, healthy meal planning. And she'll go into way more detail here, but when I got to her website, I was like, oh yes, I want to talk to this girl. I want to know more about this business. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm pumped to get to chat with her, get some insight into that business of hers, her industry, her marketing strategy, and what makes it all tick. So Abigail, are you ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do this. So first of all, tell us, how do you earn your living?
Yeah, so like you just said, I'm the co-founder of That Clean Life, which is a web-based meal planning platform, and it helps both individuals meal plan for themselves and wellness professionals to meal plan for their clients. So basically, we help people create meal plans, automate their grocery list, and just kind of eat healthy in general so that they can look and feel their best. And That Clean Life is a subscription service. So we offer memberships to the platform for individuals and wellness professionals. And that's what we offer. And that's how I make a living.
That's incredible. Where did this idea come from?
Yeah, so it kind of stemmed from my own health issues. So I discovered what a profound impact the food I was eating could have on my entire life. And I got really extremely passionate about just shouting it from the rooftops and teaching other people how they could transform their lives through real food too. So I started a blog and I began sharing my favorite recipes, and I noticed something, and that was that people would try the recipes here and there, but overall their lifestyles remained unchanged. And this is kind of when I had my aha moment, and it made me realize that people were really struggling with not just how to eat healthy, but how to eat healthy day after day. So in a consistent way, or turn it into a lifestyle. So I realized that one-off recipes just weren't cutting it, and I wasn't making a big enough impact that way. And I felt like they needed people needed someone to give them a more holistic plan and show them the way to a healthier lifestyle. And this is when I had my big idea, and I thought that if I could give people a solid action plan in the form of a delicious meal plan, then maybe they could turn eating healthy into a lifestyle that they actually enjoyed. So from here, I just opened up a really basic Word document and I typed out my weekly meal plan, just like breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks. I wrote out all the recipes to go along with it. And then I made an itemized grocery list to go along with the meal plan so that it was super easy for people to follow. And this is when I brought my husband, Christopher, who has some serious tech skills, into the mix, because he was able to help me format the meal plan and the grocery list and make everything look really nice and professional and turn it into a PDF that would inspire people and that would get them excited to eat well. So from here, I posted it up on my website and I challenged people to follow the meal plan with me for a week. And I didn't charge a cent to participate. I gave away the plan for free. Participation was free and support was free. And I just promoted this challenge across all my social media channels. And by the time it started, I had hundreds sign up to participate. And I led them through the challenge day by day, and it went really well. And after it wrapped up, everybody was like, hey, I need another meal plan. Like, where can I get this? So that's when I decided to start making them monthly and charging for them. And much to my surprise, people were willing to take out their credit cards and pay for this service. So over our first year, we were just releasing ebooks on a month-by-month basis. But then we kind of ran into the same problem that I was talking about the blog, that people would get these meal plans and kind of treat it like a diet, and they would just stop doing them. So that's when we launched the platform, the meal planning platform that would help people log on continuously, get continuous inspiration, and be able to turn it into a lifestyle. So I know that was kind of a long way around how it started, but it's kind of grown organically. We started in 2014. So we've been growing over the last 4 years now.
Oh, that was awesome. And it was so well said. I want to dig in to understand a little bit more about that process. So you said that you really just started out by blogging recipes. What did you do before then? Like, were you working a corporate job at the time? What was your background there? And what made you start that blog in the first place?
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I kind of missed in that story. So I went to university to be a registered nurse, and I was working at a pediatric children's hospital while this kind of all unfolded. So I was working day shifts and night shifts. And this is kind of when I realized I needed to eat well in order to sustain myself. So that was what I was doing at the time. And I started building this completely on the side. So I was working full time while I was releasing these ebooks the first year of that clean life. So that's a really interesting kind of part, because I didn't quit my job to pursue this right away. It took me a while to get to that point.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it came out of that passion of, just realizing, hey, I need to do this. Then you started making changes and realizing, okay, I see the results here, and feeling a passion, or maybe did you feel like it was kind of a calling? Like, it's really my duty to bring this to people in a more accessible way. What did that feel like? Because a lot of us go on health journeys, and that's all well and good. But for the right person, it really gets in your bones to be like, wait, no, more people need to know about this and know how to do this. So tell me about that calling. What did it feel like? What made you think that it needed to go out to more people?
Yeah, so that's another great question, because I really struggled with dieting in my late teens and early 20s. I had spent a lot of time kind of trying to feel better about myself through dieting and weight loss programs and Weight Watchers and cabbage soup diet and juice cleanses and all that stuff. And when I discovered the concept of clean eating, which basically means focusing on whole foods, and combine that with the concept of meal planning, so taking some time every week to kind of make a rough plan, it changed my life, and it changed every single aspect of my life and made me feel better, both like mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I just started becoming a better person to myself and everyone around me. And that's the problem that I wanted to help people solve, because there's tons of girls out there just like me who are hopping from diet to diet and unsustainable approaches. And I wanted to show people that you don't need to do that. If you just focus on the basics of eating well, moving your body, drinking water, getting sleep, all that good stuff, the rest kind of just falls into place more organically, and you don't need to torture yourself. So I saw a problem that needed solved, and I just started going for it. And once I started, I couldn't stop.
Yeah. And it sounds like, if I can connect the dots for our listeners, it sounds like from the very get-go, you had that deep story within what you were trying to do. So even when you started the blog, that was the undercurrent. That's what was really drawing people in. And then, as you said, you offered this free meal plan for a week and you had 100 signups. That tells me that you had a strong voice in what you were doing before you offered that meal plan. So because people don't just like sign up because meal plans are kind of a dime a dozen. But if you have a strong voice and they've been following you and they've been paying attention and respect you, they're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to commit to that. And then that's what kind of, allowed you to build. So would you agree with that? Did you feel like you had a pretty strong voice from the beginning, or has it kind of evolved over time?
Yeah, so I went through my own transformation and
Mm-hmm.
people were really curious how I did that. So I think that's how I started to gain some credibility in the space.
Mm-hmm.
Also, kind of a background as a registered nurse helped me as well, knowing a lot about health.
Mm-hmm.
But just being able to make that transformation myself and being able to tell my story about how I made that transformation made me a good leader, because people knew that I had gone through it, I could relate to them, and they were willing to listen because they knew I had made the transformation myself.
Definitely. Then that's so powerful. Okay, so then, all right, so blog to free meal plan. Oh, that kind of worked. Let's do a monthly ebook. And then you built it out into a full-blown platform where people subscribe and get are they weekly or monthly meal plans? How does that work right now?
So we give you access to lots of pre-made programs that you can kind of draw from, but really you can, like, our big selling feature is that you can totally customize your own meal plan. So we're not releasing weekly meal plans and telling you what to eat every week. It's kind of, I'm really much against that. I think people need to find a way of eating that works for them. So that's why we leave the ball in your court, but we give you access to new recipes every week so that you can try new things. You can plug them into your meal plan. Your grocery list will be automatically generated. And that way you can find a way of eating right and living that works for you and your lifestyle.
That's so interesting because I have seen that as kind of a hole in the market where meal plans, it's like, yes, yeah, there are definitely people out there like, just tell me what to eat, for crying out loud. Like, I cannot figure this out. I've been through the ringer of trying to figure out what to eat so I can feel healthy, and I just can't just tell me what to eat. But there's definitely another set of people who want guidance, but don't necessarily want to or need to be told exactly what to eat, and they want that customization. So I see that. I see that as an interesting little pocket of opportunity, and I'm super impressed that you found that. That's really cool. So when you launched That Clean Life as a platform, what did that look like? How did you get attention to it, and how did you earn your first dollar with that platform specifically?
Yeah, so it goes back to the free challenge that we ran, because that free challenge allowed us to develop an email list of, gosh, I can't even remember, at least 800 subscribers downloaded that free meal plan.
Mm.
So then after we started releasing the ebooks, we built a mailing list just through kind of testing the process, selling more ebooks, so that when we launched the platform, we already had a huge community of people who knew us and liked us and trusted us. And that first month when we launched That Clean Life as a platform, so having a subscription service, we brought on, I think, close to 170 customers that first month alone, just because we had put in the time it didn't happen by mistake. We had put in that first year where we grinded and we gave away all of our best content for free and served people for free and just poured our hearts and souls into it, so that when we did launch the platform, it was really easy to get people to subscribe, because we had developed relationships, and that went a really long way for us.
I am so glad you just riffed on that a little bit. And I would love for you to speak more on that seemingly overnight success that takes years, often, definitely months, usually years,
Yeah.
to get to, and a whole lot of giving a lot of stuff away, like these membership things and subscriptions. I hate to burst anybody's bubble. I know this is going to rub somebody the wrong way. I'm just not even going to say sorry, because I'm not. That stuff takes a while to build. It is not, yeah, it's a smaller price point every month, but to get enough people to make it sustainable, That takes a lot of effort. So riff on that a little bit. That whole idea of overnight success and like a breakout moment. Just tell me about that whole thing for specifically your brand. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I love talking about this because so many times people come to me and they say, how do I do what you've done? And I'm like, well, put in 4 years and then like, let's talk, because it does not happen overnight. And you can't launch straight from like point A to point like H. Like you have to, make small steps to get there. So the concept I always kind of go back to is called the MVP. And the MVP stands for minimal viable product. So what is the smallest thing you can do right now? Like if you want to build an app or like some kind of subscription service, you don't jump straight to that. First, you build something very small and that will take you minimal time and minimal effort, and minimal money that will help you test that idea first before you go and spending hours and tons of dollars investing in something you don't even know will fly. So let's take it back to the example of that clean life. What we first did is we just put together a very simple ebook. Like it was basic. It had photos that were done on my iPhone, was just formatted on Google Docs. We exported it as a PDF and then sold it for $9. And that allowed us to test, is this something that people will pay for? Once we tested that, yes, it was, people would take out their credit cards and pay money for this, then it made sense to build the platform. And only after we had been working on it for a year did we feel like we had enough of a community built up to go forward with that. If we would have like stepped right into building the platform, like there was so many lessons we learned and we wouldn't have had the people to make it fly. So always focus on the MVP. That's my best advice. What's the smallest thing you can do? And then from that small thing, like what's the next step you can take? So like we went from a free challenge to a paid ebook and then to a platform. And we're still working on the platform. It's a huge project. So
yeah. So good. I want everyone to like just rewind for a couple minutes, just listen to that all again because that was so good. Yeah. I'm so glad you said that. Okay. And so
and it's so important. I wish that somebody would have told me that like I couldn't just, skip over all of that because I'm so impatient. My husband bugs me about it all the time and I just wanted to like get going. But I'm so glad that it kind of unfolded the way it did. And I really encourage people to take that path too.
Yeah. And I think it's not like we're trying to be Debbie Downers over here telling you that it's going to be harder than you think it is. I think it's just that when you go in with that expectation of that, I'm going to have to really grind it out here. Like I am to produce anything of lasting value. And that's the thing, right? Like sometimes people have breakout moments, but they don't last. Like it's like a one-hit wonder sort of thing because they didn't have to grind it out beforehand. But I think, this is just my theory, you guys, but I think it's a blessing to be in the grind period, because if you're in the grind, the moment where you break out and you have the quote unquote overnight success that took you 5-10 years to build to, I think that's the kind of quote unquote success that we want because it's more sustainable. You have a foundation to hold you up in that moment. Whereas if you're looking for a quick fix or a quote unquote overnight thing, even if it happens, you've got no foundation, right? You've got no roots to hold you. So yeah, that's a deeper thing that I think we both could probably riff on for a while, but I'm gonna move on and see what's going on with That Clean Life right now. So tell me, when did you officially launch the platform?
Yeah, so the platform itself started January 2015. So we launched on New Year's Day. So that makes the platform itself about 3 years old right now.
Okay, cool. So now it's, in entrepreneur world, business world, things change so quickly. So I'm sure that there's been quite a colorful journey to get to the point where we're at right now. But tell me about your strategies to bring in new users to the platform? Like, what are you utilizing right now and what is working? And then maybe some strategies around how to keep those who are there engaged and subscribing to the service.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to start with that question.
I know,
So
that was a
I
big
guess,
one.
yeah, I'll go back to kind of how we got our first customers in the beginning again. So, like, it was the free challenge to the paid platform. So that made it really easy for us to have the email list to market to. After that, we really zoned in on content marketing. So basically, just continuing to give away all our great content for free. Because I once heard a quote and it said, if you can't outspend, then out teach. And at the beginning, we didn't have much money to spend on marketing. So all we could do was just teach everything we know. So for those who aren't familiar with content marketing, it's just all about creating super awesome content like blogs and social media posts that don't explicitly promote the brand, but intend to kind of stimulate interest about it. So ever since we've launched, we release a weekly newsletter and create a new piece of blog content that we can promote that kind of get new people interested in what we're talking about. And even if they just come to the blog and check out what we're talking about that week and go away, they say it takes people at least 7 touch points. I've heard 7, I've heard 12 before they buy. So even if they just come to it and then they go away and then they come back and go away, every week we're putting out a new piece of content. And I think that's allowed people to get to know, like, and trust us again. So that has been really great. But over our first year of business, we kind of discovered another need within the market because we launched as a platform for individual and personal use. So just so the average person could come on and build meal plans for themselves or for their families. But then we had a whole new market coming to us like crazy saying, I'm a wellness professional, like I'm a naturopath or a personal trainer or a registered dietitian, and I need to build meal plans for my clients. Like, how can I use your platform to do that? So that's when we kind of released another piece of That Clean Life, which is called That Clean Life for Business, because we had identified another need. And this is just a new layer of a membership to target wellness professionals to get them to build meal plans and build really cool resources for their clients. And this kind of like a bomb went off because then I had to figure out how to market to this other group of people. So what I've kind of worked on with that kind of niche is Facebook ads. So that's really kind of a tactic that's working for us right now. So we kind of layered on the content marketing thing, developing content aimed at wellness professionals. And then we layered that with Facebook ads. So we use a Facebook ad funnel where we drive a cold audience towards all these blogs that we're creating. And then we retarget them to download a free ebook, which then puts them into a drip campaign to kind of educate them about That Clean Life for Business and what's it all about and the pains it can help them solve. So this Facebook ads funnel has really helped us to nourish leads and attract new people along with our killer free content.
You know what my favorite word in there was layer. It's a layering effect. It's because I think I mean I totally do this too when I'm in my moments of like, okay, what can I do to make this better, right? And I'm thinking of all the things and I feel like they all have to happen all at once. They don't. They don't.
No,
I mean, you just like
not
you
at all.
said, they can start with content. It can start with content. And again, I love that. I've never heard that line before, but I totally agree. If you can't spend, you better be teaching. I mean, because you can do that with just your time. You've got time. Even if you don't think you do, you totally have time. You can find it somewhere and you can teach in that time. Build that audience, build that brand, build the voice, and teach. And then eventually you'll be surprised with what you can do with that content that you put the effort into. And just like you said, you have all this content and now you can feed it to that cold audience and work them through a Facebook funnel. And it's funny because a lot of times Facebook ads make people want to just cry because they're just so nuanced and whatever. And I love how you said you're nourishing them. It's I think we should be probably friends here because the words that you use explaining it are so feel good. I mean, it's just like, we're layering things on, we're teaching them, we're nourishing them through every step of the journey, educating them on what we can help them with because of the pains that we know they have. That's it. That's why it works. I love it. Okay. So I just riffed a little bit there pretty hard, but you're saying all the right words.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that we're speaking the same language.
Yeah, me too. This is good. Okay. So, we are in March 2018. So where's your focus at right now? What are you working on for that clean life?
So to be completely honest with you, I'm a bit of a hot mess right now. And I am not focused at all on one particular thing. I wish I could tell you I was, but I'm not. So we just released version 2.0 of that clean life. So basically a new redesign, a new look and feel. We took the 3 years worth of feedback and kind of went over everything and added some new features. And it's absolutely beautiful. But when you log into Facebook and they've changed a bunch of stuff on you and you kind of freak out and you're like, Facebook sucks. Like, I hate Facebook. I'm not going to use it anymore. So that's kind of what we're going through with our customers right now and trying to talk to them about why we made these changes and this is done to make it better for you. And, as they use it, they get used to it. But right now I'm working really hard to get all of our customers back up, reacquainted with the new look and feel. So right now I'm kind of working on customer support. I'm getting screenshots updated because we use a lot of screenshots throughout our branding and that platform no longer exists. So I have to go back and replace all of those so people are looking at the right thing. And then just working with our amazing team to ensure we're still putting out that high value content for our members and our community and providing them with an amazing experience throughout this kind of moment of transition. So once we wrap up rolling out this redesign, it's going to be kind of a slow process. I really need to take some time to get grounded and focused on kind of, the big picture and what's next for that clean life. Because right now it's just a weird kind of moment in time where I don't really have that clarity. I don't have the focus. I'm just kind of going moment to moment and I'm trying to embrace it. It's kind of frustrating, but that is kind of the name of the game.
Can I just say, I so appreciate you being honest about that because it's not, I'll say it. It's not easy to just say, yeah, this is a great question, but focus? No, not here right now. I really appreciate that. And that's so much of what this podcast and this community that we're all building here. It's about supporting one another while we support ourselves. And to really, truly support someone, there has to be a transparency of just the nth degree, just being transparent and honest about really what's going on. And I really value that you brought that to the table today. I so appreciate that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because I think so many times we look at people and we're like, holy, they really have their stuff together. They really know what they're doing. But I think it's important for us to all kind of realize, none of us know what we're doing. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go. It's not that I'm super smart or have any special talents. I'm average. It's just you got to stay with the problem really long and just kind of keep grinding it out. And when you don't have a focus and when it feels like you're juggling a million balls, that's okay. And don't be afraid to say that because I think that's, what helps us relate to one another as, humans. We're not perfect. We're all just figuring it out as we go.
100%. 100%. And then if you ever have the chance to speak candidly to someone that you kind of have put on a pedestal, you'll realize that there's really no reason for the pedestal. It happens to me all the time, both ways. That's a good one.
For sure. I get that a lot too. It's they come up, it's a lot of people say to me, wow, it looks like you're doing so well. And in my head, I'm like, wow, does it? Because, it really doesn't feel like it right now. So thank you. I'm glad it looks that way from the outside. And I always kind of take the time to say that out loud too when I can, when I feel comfortable with it. Because like I said, it's super important to be transparent and we're all struggling together. We're all in this together.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can practice being transparent about that, I think it becomes easier to ask for help when you need it. Because I've also been in the trap of, oh, well, it looks like I'm doing great. I've been told that, but I don't feel like I'm doing great. And I really need help with something. And if you've taken the time to, be honest in some safe spaces about the fact that like not everything is perfect, you're more apt to ask for help when you need it. And that's huge. I just wrote a blog post about that. It's been kind of resonating with my audience over at Jam Marketing Group. And I, that is where business growth lies, is when you can be honest and transparent about the situation, no matter how it looks like on the outside or how it looks on Instagram. I mean, come on. That's not real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is so good. Okay. So you just mentioned that you're kind of looking forward to a time when you have the space to get grounded again. Walk me through how you envision doing that, or how you've done that in the past.
Yeah. So I like to read because I feel like reading kind of re-inspires me, hearing other people's ideas. I like to read. I like to listen to podcasts. I like to journal. So I like to write after I have been reading, kind of, writing out. I like to take the advice people are giving and kind of turn it into like, how am I going to apply this right away? So I have a journal just on my desktop that I use for that. So that's super helpful. And usually that helps me get re-inspired and re-grounded. I just feel like writing out kind of my goals and my next focus or next steps on like where things are going to go is super helpful in helping me visualize that. And then I can take that and talk to my team about it. I can talk to my husband, Christopher, who's my co-founder, about it and get their feedback too. So that's kind of how I get re-grounded and re-inspired. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Like I've spent the last few weekends like just kind of combing through some leadership stuff and trying to figure out like how to articulate, why we do what we do and stuff like that. So it's sometimes it pans out getting re-inspired and grounded. And then sometimes I go through these times where I'm just like totally flustered for weeks on end. So
yeah,
it depends.
Yeah. It's a practice.
There's a season for everything. Exactly.
Definitely. Absolutely. Okay. So tell me, what inspires you when you have to grind it out, really? Like when you have to grind it out and when you're in those seasons of a little bit of chaos here and there, what inspires you to keep going?
The members of That Clean Life really inspire me because they are just incredible human beings that don't let us give up. They are super vocal in telling us how they feel, like what we can do to improve. They're constantly forcing us to get better. Like they don't, sometimes you see something you don't like and you just don't say anything about it. But our members are so great and constantly giving us feedback, and they've really helped shape the business and they've helped us become what we are today. And I'm really grateful for that. And they just inspire us every day.
Awesome. So cool. If someone's listening right now and I can kind of already imagine they're going to be like, okay, I got to go check out That Clean Life thing because this sounds like something I need. If someone is thinking that and they want to dive into healthier life and do that amidst all the other crazy stuff going on in life, do you have any go-to resources that you would point them toward?
Probably our blog, because like I said,
good answer.
we teach everything we know there, and anything that I've learned along the way, we've kind of turned into a blog post on how you can accomplish this. Like really simple things like what ingredients to buy frozen instead of fresh so that you can save money and not have food rotting in your fridge. But then also everything from like mindset shifts that I've made along this journey to make it easier, like letting go of, black and white thinking like you need to eat healthy all the time or you're a failure, stuff like that. So like the psychological part of it is on our blog. And then the very tactical part, so like about grocery shopping and actual meal planning, is on the blog. So that is our best source of knowledge. And I really encourage you guys to hit that up.
So key. Okay. So one last question we've got to end with. I want you to look back and tell us, what advice would you give to yourself when you were first starting your business? That girl on her couch, hunched over her MacBook, trying to figure this thing out. What would you say to her?
Well, going into this, I thought, I thought that building a business and being your own boss sounded cool, but I really had no idea, like zero idea about how much work it would take. So looking back, I think I would tell myself to buckle in, hold on tight, and really enjoy and savor the ride, because I had no idea what a roller coaster this is going to be. And I kind of wish I would have been a bit more aware and better equipped to deal with those high highs, but also those low lows. So this is something I'm still working on figuring out, but that would have been good to know going into this.
Yeah, and that kind of comes back to that point of get ready for the grind, and the grind is going to be a blessing when you get to your 5-year mark and your 10-year mark, and because we're not in to do this for, I mean, maybe some people are, but we're not trying to do this for a year, right? Or even 2 years.
Exactly.
It's so much longer than that. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to build a business that lasts not just a couple years, but for 15, 20 years. And I think that is the biggest accomplishment, because that's really hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's such good advice. Okay. Before we go, Abigail, could you please tell the listeners where they can find you online?
Yeah, so thatcleanlife.com is probably the best place. That links to our blog, that links to our team page. You can email me if you ever want to chat. It's just Abigail@thatcleanlife.com. I'm always happy to connect. And then we're also big Instagram fans. So if you guys are on Instagram, check us out. We are @thatcleanlife. We share our best tips there, a lot of photo inspiration, some funny quotes, because we're all about not taking healthy eating too seriously. So that's another great place to find us.
Awesome. All right. You heard her, girls. Go check her out. Send her some love. And then hop into our private Facebook group to hear even more from Abigail over the next few days. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketingin.yogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too. And all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketingin.yogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing in Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.